Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We need to follow up the video we made this morning going over some of the final Infinite Forbidden reveals. We still have some more stuff. I think we probably got a total of, like 10 cards revealed earlier, so that probably took us down to like 22, 23, and then 3 more cards here from 22 to 23 down to like 12, 13, so this probably leaves us with 10, maybe 9 slots left in the set that we will get revealed in the next week. Keep in mind this set comes out like literally in a week, so we're going to get the final filler cards put in there. Hopefully there's some cool stuff. But as for today, we have 2 trap cards and a monster. You may think that sounds kind of boring, except one of them's a pretty cool Memento fusion, which I really think they needed. And also one's potentially another new playable hand trap. We already are getting the other Max C or Min C, what people are calling it, hand trap in this set, but also add another one in there that kind of works a little bit like Infinite Impermanence. So let's take a look. First off, we start off with the new trap, 3 as 1. It's an OJAMA card, and it's pretty OJAMA-esque. This is a normal trap card. During your opponent's end phase, if the combined number of cards they control and in their hand is greater than the combined number of cards you control and in your hand, special summon 3 normal monsters from your graveyard. Just any 3 normals. Cool. That is very OJAMA-esque. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target 3 monster cards you control with different original names. Set a spell or trap directly from your hand or deck that mentions all 3 of those cards' original names. So again, you're going to need to... this is basically a way for you to set a spell or trap that can... that just lists OJAMA green, OJAMA black, and OJAMA yellow specifically in its card text. Otherwise, I can't imagine there's too many other cards this could be working with. Maybe... nope, that doesn't even work. I was going to say King's Knight, Queen's Knight, and Jack's Knight. Technically that works, but the problem is Jack's Knight is not a normal monster. So the first effect doesn't work with Jack's Knight, whereas the second effect could still work if you got them all on the field. But still, this is clearly OJAMA tailored. Without listing the OJAMAs in its text, it's pretty OJAMA tailored. The only other thing I would maybe like to see out of this card is maybe the ability to activate the spell or trap you set the turn it was set. That way you could maybe set something on the opponent's turn and still be able to activate it right then and there. Or even if you set a spell on turn 1, being able to activate it, or like a quick play spell, maybe being able to activate that right away as well. But other than that, it's an OJAMA card. You can't really expect too much out of it. But it's cheeky, it's fun, you love to see it. Next up, we have that Memento fusion I was talking about. This is Mento Mictlin Tekutlika? Man, brutal names. I'm trying my best here. Combined Conqueror. We'll just call him Memento Combined Conqueror. How about that? He's an Earth Illusion monster, actually, funny enough. Fusion. He's a level 9 fusion, 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense. He takes 3 Memento monsters. That's maybe the one downside I remember for the first time I read this card, is that it does require 3 Mementos to make, but I believe, can't the fusion use graveyard stuff as well, so it's not the end of the world. If the way the deck fused was like on field and in hand, that may be a little bit too many resources to give up for one card, but if you can fuse from grave, that actually mitigates a good bit of this. Okay, 3 hard ones per turn effects, and you cannot use the first and second effects in the same chain. First effect, if this card is fusion summoned, you can send a Memento card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. That's already pretty dang good. I believe that means it can send itself. There's no restriction there, and I believe this card has an effect engrave, so that's not too shabby. So we'll take it. Send it. Foolish Burning Memento Monsters is not bad. From extra deck's not bad either, because I believe you just can get a search out of that. It's pretty good. Second effect, quick effect. So that's why it's not in the same chain, so you can't do both in the same right together. Second effect, you can target the same number of Memento cards you control and cards your opponent controls, destroy them. That's pretty good, because Memento just kind of floats when any of their stuff is destroyed, and I like this as like an additional win condition, an additional boss monster the deck can go for. I've talked about this before, that it did feel like if you weren't able to get to the main deck boss monster, it really felt like the deck wasn't doing quite enough. But now I think this gives you an alternate route if your opponent does hyper fixate on keeping you off of that main deck boss monster, you can now you do now have another boss monster pretty worth going into, right? He is value on summon, he is an interruption / removal card on the field, and then even in grave, we'll read here, third effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard, add a Memento Mictlan from your deck to your hand. I believe that's the field spell in the deck, and that card's pretty good in the archetype as well, so we'll take that. So that's why this card's not too shabby to be able to Foolish Burial, because it just go ahead and search the field spell, which is solid. I don't remember exactly what the field spell does, because I was planning on looking deeper into this deck when the new cards in Legacy of Destruction come out for us in the TCG next week, but still pretty cool to see. That's solid. All in all, just good card. I mean, it's got facets all over the place. It's got a good effect on summon. It's got a good quick effect at any point while it's on the field, and it has a good effect, a solid effect. I don't want to say it's an amazing effect, because if it searched any Memento card or even Memento Spell or Trap, I'd be really in on it. Unfortunately, it's only the field spell, but the field spell is a card you do want, so it's not terrible by any means. So we'll still take it. It's good value there. So all in all, really good card, as long as the materials aren't too hefty and we can get away with using 3 materials even if it's from grave. I know sometimes with like the boss monster you do want to fill your grave up with materials. As long as we can do that, and again, just summoning this card does get you a dump. His on-field effect does get you ways to send more mementos, all that stuff. You should be able to fill up the graveyard and rotate pretty easily. So all in all, I think it's a pretty solid card here. And the last card we have here is a normal trap card. I don't even have the name here. They're saying stuff about the name here. That the kanji means pulverization of the Holy King, but this has a forced reading. So it'll be something along these lines basically, but it'll probably translate to something a little weirder, a little bit different. Not weirder, but just not the same, but in that same realm probably. It's a normal trap card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. If your opponent controls a card, you can activate this card from your hand. When a card or effect is activated that includes an effect that adds a card or cards from the deck to the hand, for the rest of this duel after this card is activated from the hand, so on field this doesn't restrict you, but if you activate it from the hand, you cannot activate dark, water, and fire monster effects. Also negate the activation. Then if you already have a trap card in your graveyard, destroy that card. Very, very cool. I think this card is very, very interesting. I'm really curious where this came from, why I'm not even mad about it, right? I almost wish it was like dark, light, and maybe fireworks now, just because of how strong fire decks are currently. But I almost wish like water was still able to use this, because like water feels like such an underpowered attribute in the game anyway. I feel like light and maybe earth could be on here, because those are pretty generic types for a lot of like extra deck monsters and stuff, but it is what it is. This card's pretty good, all in all. I think if it resolves, it's pretty good. I mean, listen, it only hits cards that add cards from deck to hand, so that's the restriction, is that like it's another Ash Blossom, but isn't quite as versatile, because Ash still hits stuff that summons from deck and hits stuff that Foolish Burials from deck. This card is only hitting cards that add from deck to hand. Now, that's also fine, because like almost every deck in the game has any effect that adds from deck to hand. That even includes draw cards, Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Desires, Pot of Prosperity, so even generic cards still play into this. And the added benefit, I mean, I don't expect this part to come up all that often, right? Where like if you already have a trap, I mean, I guess you could have impermed something, but that does make this pretty interesting. I mean, I think about something like I almost think about something like Unchained, where like if you had already maybe Ash something or maybe imperm something at the beginning of the turn, and then they go to make the link 2 to add, this not only negates the link 2, but if you already used imperm, this now is negating and popping. You're basically like solemn striking the link 2 when it attempts to use its effect. Now, this is only specific effects, only effects that add, so again, I'm saying solemn strike, but it's respondable. It's not, it can't hit like stuff on summon, and it's only particular effects that are activating, but all in all, this is certainly another interesting, and in my opinion, playable trap card. You can't play it in dark, water, fire decks, but wind, light, and earth decks certainly can. Right now I'm testing Melodious, having pretty good success with it. This is a hand trap I already kind of being a little bit enticed by, just because you can't really play Bestials, Phantasme, Nibiru, and Melodious because you can't play hand traps that summon themselves to the field. But this card, a little bit intriguing, not gonna lie. So definitely a very cool card. Maybe it's a little bit too specific, and maybe it'll be a side deck type card when maybe it's something that's just so ashable and you just have to, you know what I mean, have more copies of Ash because you can't let a certain ad happen in a deck, or it's too late for you to handle, that kind of thing. But otherwise, pretty cool. Like, honestly, like, pretty cool. What about something like Floowandereeze, where their effects add and then normal summon, and it's all one effect? You still get to negate it, and you're also cutting off that line of normal summoning. They have to have an extender from there. There's definitely some applications here. I'm not saying the card's broken by any means. I don't think it's insane. I don't think it's better than Ash, but I do think it's interesting, and I do think this is definitely the exact kind of card that I pick up, throw it in the binder, and it'll probably come out of the binder at some point to make use of. So it's cool. It's also another card that doesn't play into Talents or Thrust, so that's another tiny bonus there. But there you go. Those are the 3 cards I missed earlier. Only other things that are pretty interesting is like we have like Reveal Zone, like more of the artwork finally, like from the end of the Legacy of Destruction reveals, some of those TCG exclusive cards. This is that Illusion boss monster. That's pretty cool. We saw her. This is the reptile link too. I think this is like the most important card that was revealed from the TCG exclusives. Pretty good card in my opinion. This is Pyrite Knight. He actually looks pretty sweet. He's cool. The level 5 Earth Warrior, the Battle Guard Echoes. That's actually not a bad card either. And Double Die. There may have been some others, but those were the main ones, I think. Other than, maybe we missed the field spell cards, the ones that have synergy with the field spells. Yeah, these 3. So here's your Krishnered Witch, your Jungle Dweller, and your Multi-Universe. Cool looking stuff. Yeah, all in all, pretty cool. Like, honestly, the reveals today were pretty hype. I'm pretty excited about Madolche and Memento after this. And even for this hand trap, we get like 2 new, like, totally playable hand traps, in my opinion. That's pretty exciting. And I don't think they're broken by any means either. So I think they're pretty fair and balanced overall. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. We still have final Infinite Forbidden reveals coming in the next week. We should have more light Duelist Pack reveals in the next probably month. We're going to get the final archetype and then 3 final cards for each archetype, or the final card of each archetype down the line there. Very excited for that. And also Animation Chronicle we're going to creep up on as well. So still more to come. Stay tuned for more on the channel. I will bring you that whenever it drops. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.